In this video, we're going to go over how each sign handles telling the truth and the topic of honesty. Let's go. First up, Aries. Aries will give you the unfiltered truth regardless of how you may take it, because Aries is all about black and white thinking. It either is or it isn't. And we know Aries are outspoken and direct. So they will give you the facts whether you ask for them or not. And when it comes to your feelings being hurt when they give you the truth, they're thinking, sometimes the truth hurts, so get over it. Honestly, they see this form of direct communication as love. Next up, Taurus. Taurus will give you the truth and every unnecessary detail leading up to it. A Taurus is all about the facts, just like Aries, but they're also all about the backstory to make sure you understand what they're talking about. They want to tell you what the surrounding characters were wearing, what day of the week it was, what they had for breakfast that morning, and why. So sometimes it's a situation where you're thinking, oh Lord, would you please get to the point? But at least you know what is coming out of their mouth is accurate and factual. Okay, Geminis are a bit more calculating. I know they get a bad reputation for being two-faced and not always being completely honest, but that isn't always the case. Now, more than likely, they start off really wanting to tell you the truth, but they also don't want to have a conflict or have you get angry with whatever it is that they have to say. So they test the waters a bit first. They'll start at a random part of the story, and based on the reaction they're getting from you every step of the way, that will determine how much they're willing to reveal. So they'll do their best to work their way to the truth, but if they're getting crusty energy from you at any point along the way, or it seems like you're not vibing with the information that they're giving, they may give you a half-truth and call it a day. Your best bet is making sure to listen with an open mind, keep it lighthearted, let them get to the point, and then address whatever it is that you may have a problem with. But if you consider not telling the whole story a lie, then yes, they lie. But for them, their priority is keeping the connection, so sometimes they will leave a bit of uncomfortable bits and pieces out of the equation just to maintain that good energy. Okay, next up, Cancers. All right, now Cancer will tell you the truth for sure, but it's 100% based on how they feel about you. If you're someone that they love and they feel that loves them, and someone they trust and they feel like trusts them, then yes, you will get the truth. However, if you aren't in their inner circle, they're not gonna give you much. They won't directly lie to you, but they will say whatever is necessary to get you out of their face so they can go back to whatever it is they were doing. And whether they are close to you or not, if they're in the middle of telling you something that they consider to be important and you cut them off, then more than likely, they're gonna shut down the whole conversation, end of story. And your privileges of getting information have been revoked. So make sure when a Cancer's telling you something that's important to them, that you listen and that you wait for them to finish before you have something to say. Next up, Leo. A Leo will for sure give you the facts. In the same way as an Aries, they're pretty direct. The difference is, if you give them resistance, they're not gonna waste their time arguing, whereas an Aries will go head to head with anyone that challenges their point. Leos could care less if you agree with them or not, but in terms of lying, they really don't see the point unless in those rare situations where they need to save themselves in some way. For example, one of our favorite Leos.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
But overall, they are pretty honest and direct. Now, on to Virgos. Virgos pride themselves on being honest and will for sure give you the facts. However, a lot of the time it depends on what you're willing to ask. Virgos can be pretty private, so they may give you half truth because it's all they want you to know, but if you ask them a direct question, they will give you an honest answer. So with a Virgo, you have to be willing to ask the right questions. You can't just expect them to roll up and come at you offering all the truth, especially if the truth in any way can make them look bad. Because like I said, they pride themselves on doing the right thing, doing their best to honor right and wrong. Okay, Libras. Now Libras will do anything to avoid conflict. They're so good with don't ask, don't tell, especially if they think the truth will cause any pain or conflict. So they're honest for sure, but in terms of being direct and confrontational, that is definitely not them. And if you believe that lying by omission is a thing, then you would consider them liars because they don't offer up info, and even if you ask them about a certain topic, like I said, if it will cause conflict or pain, they'll do their best to avoid the answer by changing the subject or talking about something else. But if it's an extremely important situation and they know the information is necessary for the greater good, then yes, for sure, they will be honest. But they make those decisions on a case-by-case basis. Okay, Scorpios. Scorpios, we know, get a bad rap for being secretive and shady, but it's just not that simple. That's such a stereotype. Scorpios are one of the most honest signs you can know. If, like Cancers, you're someone they consider to be close to them. They will usually respond to any question with, well, why do you want to know? But if the reason you give them they feel like is a good reason, they will always keep it real and tell you the truth. But if you aren't in their inner emotional circle, you'll get no information at all. Next up, Sagittarius. First of all, a Sagittarius is the absolute best at telling any story. And when it comes to the truth, yes, they'll be honest, but they will throw in some exaggerations for dramatic effect. And they'll also potentially throw in some misinformation just to test you. But in the end, they have absolutely no problem being honest. Because like the other two fire signs, Aries and Leo, they really don't have the patience or the time to waste on telling lies, unless, like I said, in the case of Sagittarius, it's just for entertainment value. I know that sounds kind of shady, but in situations where there's a serious topic, most of the time they will stick to the truth and offer solutions if the truth causes any problems or conflict. Now, Capricorns are very similar to Scorpios. This is why they get along so well. They will only open up if they're asked for the information. They exist in their own private world with very few people that they consider to be close friends. And with those close friends and anyone they really trust and love, they will do their best to keep it 100% honest at all times. They will definitely withhold information if you aren't in their inner circle, but a straight up malicious lie, that's not gonna happen. This, by the way, is regarding romantic relationships or friendships or close family members. Now, when it comes to business and work, Capricorns are very capable of manipulating situations for their benefit and withholding any information that they feel like is going to cause them any problems or conflict when it comes to work, business, and making money. I'm talking right now specifically about relationships, love, and just personal connection. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius is a very complicated sign. They have a natural belief system that reality is situational. So they'll embellish the truth to make sure you see things the way that they want you to see it, because they know there are many different ways to see any situation. It's usually coming from a pretty good place though, where they don't want to hurt you or they want to make sure not to cause a fight. But in terms of being direct and honest, not really. They're great talkers and big picture thinkers and will be honest with you about their feelings or what they want or expect from you in a relationship. But in terms of telling you something that they know you're gonna judge as wrong, they're not gonna offer up that type of info. And may even create a whole different scenario just to make sure you won't judge them. So I wouldn't call them liars. They're actually a very loving, caretaking sign. They are the humanitarians of the Zodiac, but they can use that intelligence of theirs to manipulate the truth to make sure things are seen the way they want them to be seen. All right, Pisces. Pisces actually has every intention of being honest, but they're gonna be as honest with you as they are with themselves. And the truth is, we know that Pisces are the masters of creating their own reality. They would never say or do anything to intentionally hurt someone. That's just not how they roll. But they do have that similar chip as Aquarius, meaning they don't see life in such black and white terms. They know that there are many shades of gray and many different ways to look at a situation. So put it this way, Pisces is overall an honest sign. But if you want to make sure that there's no room left up to interpretation, you would want to make sure to ask them detailed questions to get the complete and clear picture. Because they won't just outright lie to your face, but if you give them the space, they will create a picture that they want you to see and that they prefer for you to believe. Now, when it comes to this information, don't forget to factor in the rest of your astrological chart. The moon sign, the rising sign, all the other planets, because remember, we are a blend of our astrological chart. We're not just one sign, and especially the moon sign, because the moon sign, if that's how you're wired emotionally in romantic relationships, that's gonna have a lot to do with the influence of what you decide to do in terms of being honest. It's also important to note, one of the main reasons I make these videos is because I know that once you have the information about how your chart is wired, like the predisposition of your behavior based on your astrological chart, you can take that information and transcend those traits. You're not trapped by your astrological chart. You're not forced to behave a specific way because you're a certain sign. You can say, all right, because I'm this certain sign, I know I have a tendency to overreact, or I have the tendency to be controlling. You can take that information and decide, I'm gonna make sure I work to counterbalance that energy and become less controlling or less reactive or more honest. That's the beauty of astrology. It helps us understand who we are. It also helps us understand the people that we're dealing with. So not only can we have compassion, but we can also use that information to transcend a way that we may naturally behave that doesn't work in our best interest and begin to behave in a way that starts to bridge the gap that conflict makes and to bridge the gap that judgment or misunderstanding makes. So I hope you enjoyed this information and that it was useful. If you did, give it a like, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.